Hey everybody, thanks so much for joining us to hear about our 5-year plan. We're really excited about this. It might sound super dry to some of you, but we're really excited to share this with our community. It's been a long time coming. So how it began, we started actually all the way back in 2019 when things were looking up. We had more programs than ever. We had deeper impact in year-long programming. Our community store had broken even for the first time in our history financially, and they worked really hard to reach that goal. We began to build our 5-year plan through conversation with the board and staff. We had lots of fun for a couple of months putting together a plan to make our plan, to have a plan. Anyway, we said the word plan a lot for a couple of months. And then the world changed. During our process from between then and now, the pandemic began, and we had to figure out how to keep our staff employed while making an impact in the community, pivoting how we're going to serve our community in many different ways. We worked really, really hard to make sure that we were moving with our community and making sure that we could figure out how to keep serving in the best ways for y'all. And during that process, we also were working on physically moving. Some of you may know this might be news for others, but we worked for almost 5 years on trying to move to a new location. And truly, the pandemic changed all of that for us. We went through a huge process. We learned through several different programs that were national programs about how we could do this. We worked really hard, and some wonderful, wonderful supporters even pledged or gave money towards the goal, and it all fell apart actually in the spring of 2022. During all of that, we were also, though, able to expand our extended programming with Brilliant Detroit and other organizations. Our community store was able to recover from the pandemic financially and now has new goals on the horizon. Our warehouse started making and selling wholesale kits that can now be found in libraries and local gift shops. Our volunteer programs have changed but largely recovered, and our educational programs have expanded back out. They're not back to 2019 levels, but they really have come back in some big ways. So our process was really to have internal conversations, make some big decisions, and then take that out to the community and get as much feedback as we possibly could. So learning from our community about what they thought about our values, what they thought about our vision, what they thought about our new mission, all those different pieces, because we really, really believe that having our community be part of our process is really important. So while there was lots of internal work, we also did surveying and talking to our community store partners and program partners, interviewing key nonprofit partners and public partners. And that led to the decisions of today. So let's dive in. The first big announcement is that we're changing our mission. Really, it's a reiteration and a refocusing of our mission. Our new mission is that Arts and Scraps centers the community by providing reused materials and educational resources to promote sustainability, creativity in Detroit. So what does that mean? We want community voice to be at the center of everything that we do. You know, our founder, co-founder and director for many years, Peg Upmeyer, used to always say, "You make it magic." It takes lots and lots and lots of us, tens of thousands of volunteers, donors, community members, interns, our wonderful staff, all of us together to make this crazy place work. And it really doesn't work unless it's all of us. So we really want to be a clearinghouse for resources. Yes, recycled materials, absolutely educational materials and curriculum, all those different pieces. But we also want to increase the access to collections of other nonprofits, relationships with community members that you could be collaborating with, space for whatever you're bringing to the community. We know that we're an organization that is full to the brim of resources, and we want to share that with the whole Detroit and Metro Detroit community. So we have 3 new values that we are centering our decisions around. Values are important to us because that is how we make our decisions. Our 3 values are to foster critical thinking and encourage innovation through not only our programs away from home, but also in the programs that we'll be expanding at our community store. We want to ensure that we are a resource through and for intentional decision making. And for that, we really believe that it's important that we listen intentionally to the people that are a part of our community and make sure that we are creating a safe and intentional space where everyone can be resourced. And sometimes that means that we're going to make decisions that maybe aren't the most popular because you don't have that need anymore. A great example is that we still require masks indoors. That's something that most places have moved on from, but we have a lot of vulnerable community members that we want to continue to make a safe space for. And so the intentional decision is for us to keep that a safe space so that everyone has access. That's just one example of how we want to make sure that we're doing that. We're also committed to continuing to listen. We know that our ideas are only made the best ideas when we have input from all of you. So we remain committing to be part of the community and work alongside you and listen to what you are doing, what your needs are, how we can be part of that conversation. And our third value is to prolong the life of materials for creative and educational reuse. You might be thinking, that's a given, it's all recycled materials, but you would be surprised how many people will say, doesn't everything just go in a landfill eventually anyway? But the way that creative reuse works is that when you buy something and give it a second life, you are decreasing the demand for more new things. So you are taking things out of the landfill, even if only temporarily, but you're also reducing the demand for new things to be created, which is part of what hurts our environment. The second piece of this is that we are committed to continuing to deepen our partnerships with organizations and governmental agencies like the City of Detroit, the State of Michigan, to make sure that creative reuse becomes a wider known industry that can make a bigger impact in the way we're utilizing materials in our region and beyond. There's many, many different ways to fight climate change, and we know that we're only one piece of that. But we also know that we are one piece of that, and we hope to continue to increase access to creative reuse. So our vision is for us to serve every neighborhood in Detroit and much of Metro Detroit as much as we can with programming, creative reuse materials, and partnership. We've got some really, really big ways that we want to do this through our goals. So we have 5 main goals, and I'm going to jump right into them. So the first one is to restore our one-off programming to pre-2020 levels. We know that our programming is a resource to the community, not only because it's a great educational experience for kids and all those different things, but it's also one of the few accessible educational programs that can be brought into a classroom that will enhance what a teacher is doing or a nonprofit is doing, or a library is doing, things like that. We know that this accessibility is important for the way that others are serving kids in addition to the ways that we're serving children. So we have been forming really strategic and strong partnerships already with school districts, nonprofit collectives like Culture Source and YDRC, daycare chains, and grassroots organizations. But we want to continue to build those partnerships so that we can serve more and more students. We want to increase our Francine Pegues Scholarship Fund, which we call our Fill the Gap Fund, which gives greater access to our fee-for-service programs. And we want to partner with donors and funders based on what we are hearing at the street level of what people think is most relevant and most accessible for what is needed for students. We don't want to try and come up with all the best ideas. We know that kids and the people that serve kids already know what they need. We just want to be part of what is going on. Our second goal is to expand accessibility to our warehouse's expertise and resources. So we want to expand our wholesale kit program to bring money back home to Detroit to expand the accessibility of our programming. We want to increase the work that we do with corporations who are already bringing volunteers and scraps, but we want to help partner with them as closely as we can to start to increase the amount of corporate dollars that are coming into arts and scraps so that can turn directly into programming. And third, we want to make the space, the physical warehouse space, a gathering center for our arts and scraps family with programming and other creative efforts to meet the needs of our community. We recognize that we have 2 physical spaces that we could be utilizing for programming, and our goal is to increase the amount of accessibility that we are using for the warehouse. Our third goal It's probably the driest one, but it is to create internal infrastructure that supports our current needs and our future goals. So did you know that in 2021, Arts and Scraps worked directly with 75,000 people, and that is a number that is tracked. It's actually rounded down, but we only had 11 staff. That is a really high ratio of how many people we worked with to how many people actually work for Arts and Scraps. Did you know that at Arts and Scraps, we're almost 34 years in, and we have lots and lots and lots of policies and procedures that all need to be updated, right? There's lots of stuff that sounds really boring, but we know firsthand that making those decisions and being really intentional about what those policies and procedures look like actually makes a difference in how we're able to care for our staff and our board and our community. So we're going to be creating more sustainable positions that are more in line with our values of supporting our staff as humans as well as employees. We're going to be creating space for staff to rest and reflect and share and connect with each other and the rest of our Arts and Scraps family so that they truly can be bringing the best of who they are to Arts and Scraps as well as the rest of their life. And we're going to be doing lots and lots of boring paperwork. But it's all stuff that we know is going to make Arts and Scraps a better, safer place that will be here for many, many more years to come. We know that this is important work. In fact, we've already been working on this goal for about 9 months. Our fourth goal and our fifth goal are the ones I'm most excited about. The first one is to expand access to the Detroit Community Store. We want to add more programming at our community store, starting with our Safe Space Saturday programs in 2023, and we will have more planned for 2024. We are going to have as many Safe Space Saturdays as we can possibly fund. So if you are interested in sponsoring a Safe Space Saturday or seeing how you can support, please let us know. We are also going to be opening our community store for a fourth day, which has never happened in the history of Arts and Scraps, starting in January of 2023, with the goal of actually being open 5 days a week by 2028. And we are going to be offering our space for community gatherings, groups, and organizations. If you want to hold a meeting or offer a class or bring a resource to the community, we'd love to have you do it at Arts and Scraps. We want this to be a true resource for the community, not just our materials or our curriculum, but also our space and our ideas and our connections. We really want to use all of our assets to be able to enhance our community. And our last goal is to expand our extended programming to every neighborhood in Detroit by 2030. So at Arts and Scraps, we call our 8 to 12 week programming extended programming. We've been doing these programs in many different iterations since about 2013, but it continues to expand as we find partners that it works best for. Brilliant Detroit is the perfect example. We've been working with them on programming since about 2020, and it just continues to expand. So our goal is actually to hold programming in all Brilliant Detroit houses year-round by 2024. They are going to have 24 houses by 2024, and we are going to be present at all of them. We're hoping to also expand our programs through libraries and rec centers and other nonprofit community centers so that we are accessible to every neighborhood in Detroit by 2030. And last, we're hoping to continue to build quality programming for 1st through 5th graders, and then we'll expand to pre-K through 7th grade with options for parents and teachers and nonprofit leaders. We are really, really excited about the ways that we are going to be reaching the community, and we hope that you're going to be on this journey with us. There's many, many different ways that you can help. Something as simple as being part of this event today and sharing it out to your people, or liking and commenting, sharing, all those different things, they make a big difference. The other thing that you can do is actually donate today, another day, but those dollars, we work really hard to make those dollars go as far as we possibly can. You can also donate materials from your home or your time. So if you have things at home that you think could be reused, bring them to us. If you have time or expertise, sometimes people come every Monday, right, and just help us fold fabric. Or some people will say, you know what, I actually love policy and procedure. I would absolutely love to help with that. That's so huge for us. we would absolutely love to have you work with us. You can always find that information on our website, which is artsandscraps.org, or you can email us at contact@artsandscraps.org. Last but not least, if you are a part of corporations or other organizations that we should be partnering up with, put us in relationship with those organizations. Every single bit, large or small, makes such a big difference. Arts and Scraps truly, truly, truly cannot reach these goals and this vision without you.